Hello and welcome. My name is Teach, and today we're going to take a deep dive into why Daemon is the Night King. We're going to start by showing off the timeline. If you're new to the channel, please go up and drop a like and subscribe now. So, I have a timeline here, and shout out to my daughter for making this for me. I paid her $20 and she set up all the stuff up top. What this is the wiki of Ice and Fire. This is the timeline they have of general events, and it's all organized into the timeline. So what my daughter did is she went and she took each of the one of these and she put them through a summary program, and that's what we actually see on the timeline up top. This is a summary of each event. So real quickly, I'm going to play a clip of me reading through all these all the way up to 0. It's sped up to 1.5 the normal speed. It's a little more than 6 minutes. Then we'll come back and we'll start with the theories. If you don't feel like listening to me babble for the next 6 minutes, just go ahead and jump 6 minutes ahead in the video. As you can see on the timeline, we have a key up here. CA means circa. That means roundabout. Something happened roundabout this time. BC is going to be before Aegon's landing. AC is going to be after Aegon's landing. So we're going to start with the Dawn Age, which was circa 12,000 years ago BC. A human ethnic group from Essos, the First Men, invades Westeros by crossing the Arm of Dawn, bearing weapons of bronze. The children use the Hammer of the Waters to shatter the land bridge, creating a broken arm and the Isle chain known as the Stepstones. Circa 10,000 BC, after years of warfare, the First Men and the Children of the Forest agree to a peaceful coexistence. The First Men take control of open lands, while the children keep control over the forested areas. Also, the First Men adopt the worship of the old gods. This began the Age of Heroes. The Age of Heroes was an era in Westeros where great historical figures are said to have lived. This was the time when the First Men forged the pact with the Children of the Forest. Circa 8,000 or 6,000 BC, the longest, coldest, and darkest winter descends on Westeros. Under the cover of darkness, the others invade Westeros from the utmost north. Legendary figures from this time include the last hero, Azor Ahai, who wields a great sword of fire, Lightbringer. Also around this time, with the others defeated, Bran the Builder raises the Wall, a monumental fabrication of ice and ancient magic. The Sworn Brotherhood of the Night's Watch guards the wall. Bran also builds Winterfell and becomes the first king of winter, and founds House Stark. Near the end of the Age of Heroes, the Night's King is the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He is subdued by another woman from beyond the wall and rises in rebellion. The Starks of Winterfell and the King beyond the wall, Joramun, defeat him. It's also notable to say that the Age of Valyria also begins around here, circa 8,000 to 4,700 BC. The Valyrian Peninsula was established by the Valyrians, who tamed dragons and the 14 Flames. This in its capital, Valyria, magic flourishes. Topless towers rise towards the heavens where dragons soar. Wars are fought between the old empire of Gis and the Freehold with the help of its dragons. Also, circa 4,700 years ago, the Valyrian Freehold seeks to expand their territories following the defeat of the old empire of Gis. The Andals, who had been living in Andalos, flee west to flee the upcoming Valyrians and prevent slavery. They first land in the Fingers, in the Vale of Arryn, and spread across Westeros. Circa 6,000, 4,000, or 2,000 years BC, in the hills of Andalos, supposedly 7 deities appear to Hugo of the Hill, inspiring him to invade Westeros. Meanwhile, in the Age of Valyria, circa 3,700, House Grey'iron, who has ruled Westeros for 1,000 years, are extinguished by the Andals, who have invaded Westeros and take control of the Iron Islands. Once again, circa 6,000, 4,000, or 2,000 years ago, the Andals crossed the narrow sea from Essos and make landfall on the eastern shores at the Fingers in the Vale. They come under the banner of the Faith of the Seven, with a 7-pointed star carved into their chests. The Andals assimilate to the native beliefs of the old ways and the drowned god. Circa 3000 BC, after the Andals' invasion, the southern kingdoms of the First Men fall, and eventually the Andals raise up 6 powerful kingdoms.
The free folk, wildlings, unite under the kings beyond the wall, Grendel and Gorn. They manage to evade the Night's Watch and bypass the wall. The Valyrian freehold's slow westward expansion brings it into conflict with the Rhoynish cities along the Great Rhoyne, a vast waterway. This series of wars between the two sides, starting around 950 BC, lasts for some 250 years. Circa 700 BC, after the defeat of the Rhoynar in the Second Spice War, Nymeria, a Rhoynish warrior queen, evacuates the survivors of Grian's war on 10,000 ships, eventually seeking refuge in Dawn. There she forms a marriage alliance with Lord Morris Martell, and together they organize the land into one realm. Circa 400 BC, Battle of Six Kings, fall of House Teague, and the annexation of the Riverlands by King Arlen III Duradin of the Stormlands. Circa 314 BC, the Valyrian freehold annexes a small island in the mouth of the Blackwater Bay, off the coast of Westeros. Using arcane arts, they build a castle whose towers are shaped to look like dragons, giving it its name Dragonstone. Circa 114 BC, migration of the Targaryens. Following a prophetic dream of his daughter Daenerys, Lord Aenar Targaryen decides to leave Valyria with his family and all their belongings. The Targaryens settle on Dragonstone. Circa 102 BC, the Valyrian Peninsula is shattered and the city of Valyria laid waste. Although not completely destroyed, its various city-states break apart, asserting their independence and surviving to this day as the free cities and the cities of Slaver's Bay. The dragons are virtually wiped out in the Ceremony of Blood. Circa 100 BC, the Battle of Fairmarket. Harwin Hoare conquers the Riverlands from King Eric Durin. Circa 42 BC, Harrenhal. Harrenhal, king of the Isles and the Riverlands, begins the construction of the castle Harrenhal, which takes 40 years to complete.
Welcome back. Did you make it through that? If you did, real quick, can you go and drop a like and subscribe? And we'll go on with the video. Hopefully you subscribe, because this is going to be a series. See, I've got a lot of information to cover. So, looking at the timeline, already there's gaps. Gap, 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 big gap, little gap, another gap, all kinds of gaps. Look, I propose to you that all these gaps are long nights. So let's start with the first one. The humans came to Westeros, and the children of the forest summoned the hammer of the dawn. It broke the neck and created the stepstones. I propose to you the moon meteor theory. So the moon meteor theory comes from Dany's maid. She heard a story that once there was two moons in the sky. One ventured too close to the sun and broke, and 1,000 dragons came forth. The other support for this is that Nissa screamed so loud that she cracked the face of the moon. So let's have a look at the actual map here. If the moon broke and rained down on Westeros, you can kind of see it here. Look, down here, whatever this area is down by the shadow. It's the shadow. So clearly the heaviest damage from the moon is right here. Now it looks like a big chunk probably landed on Valyria. Look at this, a big chunk. It looks like it's a rocky area, totally apart, hit right here. It hit here because it broke the arm, creating the stepstones. And I'm more than willing to bet that Dragonstone itself is probably a little chunk of this moon. So the first theory is moon meteors. It's only referenced twice. Once by Dany's handmaids, which the other handmaids totally just blow her off, tell her she's stupid. And then Nissa scream crack the moon. So Nissa scream is right here. It's talked about in this prophecy, right? Azor Ahai stabbed Nissa with his fiery sword. Okay, so I propose to you that the fiery sword was a piece of dragon glass, and that this particular thing, this particular passage, is from the children themselves, telling the story of the original Long Night. So we're going to put this down here with the original Long Night.
When the first men came, they were cutting down werewoods, and this upset the children. And they created the first White Walker, who was Nissa Nissa. I don't know who Nissa Nissa was, if she was the tree goddess or what, no clue. But the summary says the others invaded Westeros from the utmost north. Legendary figures from this time include the last hero and Azor Ahai, who wields a great sword of fire, Lightbringer. So the sword of fire is the dragon glass. He shoves it in Nissa's chest, and she screams, and it cracks the moon. The moon rains down on Planetos, and it breaks the arm. I think this whole thing about Azor Ahai should actually be up above. They did that first. Azor Ahai created the first walker, and Nissa Nissa, who is probably the corpse queen, and the longest, coldest winter descended upon Westeros. So that is information from the children learned by men. All right, on to the second one. With the others defeated, Bran the Builder raises the wall, a monumental fabrication of ice and ancient magic. The sworn brotherhoods of the Night's Watch guards the wall. Bran also builds Winterfell and becomes the first king of winter and founds House Stark. The first king of winter. So we're going to move him down to over here. He is there at the signing of the pact. He makes a deal with the children of the forest, probably to give up a firstborn son or something along those lines, and he becomes the first White Walker. All right, Bran the Builder becomes the first king of winter, or Night King. Uses ice powers to create the wall. It sits in the weirwood throne and becomes the three-eyed raven. This is my personal theory. All right, then we go over here to this last one, and this is about the Night's King, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He is the only one mentioned in the book. There is no mention of the Night King, but I'm telling you, it was Bran the Builder, was the original Night King. He became the first king of winter. So, the one here is the second long night. Okay, the first long night ended with Bran the Builder taking the dragon glass to his chest and becoming the first king of winter. The second long night, it comes around because the North forgot. Bran the Breaker forgets the promise made during the pact. Nissa Nissa comes for his brother on the wall. Well, I'll add that in there, the wall, to remind him. So, Nissa Nissa is the corpse queen. The Starks forgot to honor their pact, so she came and got Bran the Breaker's brother and turned him into the Night King. Also around this time, the Valyrian Freehold is founded. So to me, that seems maybe, I'm not totally sure on the Essos side of this, but after the Second Giscari War, sheep herders from Essos go to investigate that freaking falling star that hit the planet, and they found Valyria. They find dragons, and they start practicing blood magic. So there you go. There's the beginning of the timeline. And I'm showing you different long nights, and every single one of these long nights is gonna need a Night King. Someone's got to take the dragon glass to the chest. And I'm gonna explain to you why Daemon had that done to him as well. Wow. Did you make it to the end? Don't forget to like and subscribe. There will be more. Check out my latest video on how Bloodraven is affecting the Hot D.